All right, hello outsider. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, we're going to go through a lap guide here. First, I just want to talk about the track a little bit, about its layout, about some of its challenges, some of the things to look out for. Then we're going to go on board as I kind of run through a hot lap. My fastest lap, I did a dozen or so laps of practice and just want to show you my fastest one. And then we'll walk through that lap again, both at slow-mo and at full pace while narrating from outside the car in chase mode. So let's start by talking about the layout of this track and the sort of things that you need to be looking out for as you're working your way through here. The first thing is the ending of the prior lap is going to set up the success of your next lap. There's a couple of key passing opportunities here, and both of them tend to be on this long straight. Okay, and this straight is broken up by a chicane, which is where the opportunity for screwing up happens. So before we get to the start finish line, let's talk about the lap you're finishing. Going into 12 and 13, there is a rather tight chicane here, and you'll see when we get in car that you want to hop the first curb but try to avoid the second. Now you want to get all the way out to the end of this exit of turn 13. This is called the Wall of Champions. You want to get outside as much as you can without hitting this wall, and then ride the left-hand side all the way down the front straight, diamonding off this exit to where your braking zone is straight. You don't want to be turning and braking at the same time going into turn one. Turn one's very tight. There's some red curbing here at the apex of turn one that you're going to use. You want to float the left wheels over that red curbing as much as you can and get the car aimed at this really aggressive entry into the turn two hairpin. Quick note about the turn two hairpin. It's also the exit for pit lane, as you can see here. So it's sort of divided into two lanes. Be careful. For two reasons, you don't want to go wide here. You want to hug this inside as much as you can for a couple of reasons. Reason number one is if you wash out wide, the guy behind you is going to pass you inside. It's the faster way around. Reason number two is if there's a car exiting pit lane at that moment, you're going to hit them, right? So, the inside lane is always the way to go. You want to start getting on power at about this 3/4 mark, and then get your way down this sort of kinked small straight for the turn 3/4 chicane. Now it's another right-left chicane. Kind of like the Wall of Champions chicane, but it's a little bit more spread out. And notice how the entry is tighter than the exit. The exit is fast. So there's another red curb here. You'll treat it a lot like the turn one curbing, but on the right side, and you'll sort of roll it and then abuse the grass a little bit on exit, being careful to not hit this wall here. A lot of races end right here at the exit of turn four because people catch that wall and it just sends them into the Armco on the other side. You don't want to be that guy. There's a little kink here to the left that you're gonna abuse and then get turned over. And just like turn one here, how I said use this, square off this corner so that you're braking in a straight line. Same thing here. Consider starting out wide in turn five and then come in straight for the turn six exit. There's a little bit of gray concrete over here that you can use to widen this turn a bit because this is pretty much an acute angle and you want to use as much road as you can to be able to get a good straight line at this turn seven. You'll see in my fast lap that I screw this up a bit. There's time being left on the table right here. But you want to come out of turn six, aiming at the apex of turn seven, using this curbing to get the car spun around. Then you've got kind of a long bent straight over here with another compromised kinked braking zone. So I'll show you the braking marker for this. It's a light post right before the three board that you want to brake at that allows you to brake and get all the way down to turn eight, which it's a less aggressive version of what we saw with turn three, but it's the same recipe. A tighter entrance, a wider exit. So slow down, make sure you hit turn eight right. Don't overdrive turn eight so that you're set up for turn nine. Also, don't be side by side right here. This is a very, very tight corner. It looks deceiving. It looks wide open when you're in the sim, but it's really tight. So if a guy has gotten alongside you here between turn seven and turn eight, give it up. Just if you're on the outside, let him by, pass him later. Because you cannot go through here side by side successfully. One of you is going to cut through the grass, and no one wants that, right? So if he got alongside you here, it's his position. Just give it up. So you're going to exit down turn nine. Try to stay to the right here, and then square this kinked braking zone off and brake at the foreboard. And if you're good at Sonoma with the final hairpin at Sonoma, this is the same thing. The radius is probably, I don't know, 15-20% smaller. It's a very tight hairpin, but if you're okay at Sonoma, then you're okay here. One of the nice things about this particular hairpin, though, is you see how it sort of bulges out and then comes back in. There's a lot of runoff here for you to be able to start getting the power back down. Long straight. Best passing opportunity is going into turn 12, where again, you want to be braking pretty early. I'll show you the braking markers, the 5 board. You're going to brake pretty early and hop the first curb, miss the second. And then do it all over again, right? The best passing opportunities, turn 12, turn 1, turn 8 if you can make it happen. If you Yeah, I'm not going to say turn 3. I think that's sketchy. Maybe turn 10 if you really get a good run off of 9. Those are your best opportunities. The two most likely to succeed, though, are turns 1 and turn 12. Coming into the Wall of Champions chicane and coming into turn 1. Everything else is pretty scary, and I probably wouldn't recommend a lot of passing in some of those other places. So let's get in the car. Okay, we'll see if we can turn in a good lap here. My best so far is a 140.6. My optimal is 140.2. A bit too aggressive on that curb strike. That's all right.
The track temperature is decreasing. It's now 44 Celsius. Sector 2 time is okay.
Not bad. Lost a couple tenths there at the end. Let's see if we can do one more hot one, and then we'll go outside and talk it through. Okay, so I just turned to 140.3. Let's talk it through real quickly. We'll do it first at slow motion, and then we'll do it at speed. So I'm going to put it at this pace, and we'll just sort of talk things through as I see them. So the five board back there is where I start to brake. It's for the Wall of Champions chicane here. Notice how close I am to the left side. Like I'm right up against that white line. I probably could go over another half of a tire length, a tire width there. I'm aiming to hit this first curb. I think I hit that too aggressively. And I'm aiming to just barely miss the second one. Again, I think I hit that a little aggressively. But it ended up being a pretty fast line, but I don't think that's where I made it. I don't think that's where I made the lap time up. Really should have tracked out a little bit further there and used more of that runoff. But the problem with hitting the second curb is that the car's upset. It's hard to place exactly where you want it. So that's why I recommend hit the first curb, use it, but try to just barely miss the next one. Now here, I'm going all the way out to the left, and I'm not going to turn in until I'm right at the start-finish line. Boom, right? I'm turning in there, trying to square off this kink, and I'm going to start braking here at that first driveway, right? I start braking at that first driveway, and I'm looking for the last driveway to be my cue to turn into this corner. My goal going into turn one is to get my left side tires up onto the inside of the curbing, but not over. There's a dip there. It'll upset the car if your tires get all the way in. This way, you're pointed straight at this apex, and you can get down into first gear and quasi ride this curb, right? I'm going to get a little bit of my tires on there, but not a lot. You don't want to get way too far up onto it. You start getting on the power here, first gear, modulate your throttle, don't spin out, and aim for the beginning of this red and white curbing as your track out. I was a bit lazy there. I could have used some more space. So now I'm there, and I'm going to aim the end of the Napa boards up there and the 3 marker. That's what I'm aiming at to make my way down this little bent straight as much as possible, as quickly as possible. Brake here at the 2 board, brake in a straight line, drift out toward the white line, and here we're going to be spying this just like we did for turn 1. We want to try to get our right wheels up to the edge of the curbing, but not over the edge. You don't want to dip down into there. Try to do the same thing here, but since the grass is at the same height, you can use a bit of the grass. You're sort of bouncing over it anyway. You're carrying the left side tires over the grass. Can get out farther there. It's a bit risky, but you can get out farther there and use more of that runoff. I think there's probably half a tenth waiting there. Get over this curbing, run over the grass on exit, start turning in. Feel free to take a wider entrance here. Notice how I sort of track out and then back in. I think if you started out wider and then diamond it off to where you're coming into here straighter than what I'm doing, there's probably a little bit of better. It's probably more optimal. But regardless, you want to get over and use this little bit of runoff here to just make the track that little bit wider for getting over here. Same exact recommendation here. Use the curbing, but don't go too far. You can see there that my car got a little bit upset. It's because my tires got fully into that gully. Now here I'm just using the right side curbs to sort of feel where I'm at. It gives me that indication. As soon as I come off the curb, that's my indication to get back on the power. But again, modulating to make sure I don't spin out. This is a really easy spot to spin out right here. Now here, I'm just using all the track, sweeping out, and then I'm doing the exact same thing as before, right? I'm aiming at a point after this kink that I know to be my braking marker. Now we just saw that first white sign come into view. Right before that sign is a lighting post. That lighting post is our braking marker. Do not wait for the white sign. It's too late. So you see this light there. That light's the braking marker. So same thing, I'm braking in a straight line as much as possible, right? So position your car so that you're always braking in a straight line as much as possible. Get your left tires right out to the white line. And here we want to hit the first curb that sets us up, but miss the second curb. This is a tight entry, fast exit. And so you don't want to be all up in this curb, the white curbing, because then your car's bouncing around and you don't have power going to the ground. So miss the second curb, track out as much as you can, use the rumble strip, and then go straight. Now, something I have a bad tendency to do here is hug the left side for whatever reason, when in reality I'm trying to teach myself to get over to the right, like you see me trying to do here, and then take a later turn in. Same concept as everywhere else here. There are no real straightaways on this track, it seems, right? They're all bent. And so you want to be braking in a straight line. And so here I am trying to take a late apex into here, start braking just barely after the 4 board, maybe right at the 4 board, and not drift out to the right, hence the late apex into that corner. Need to get all the way down into first gear for the hairpin. This hairpin is a lot like Sonoma's. So if you've gotten comfortable at Sonoma, you know how to go around that. It's a lot like Sonoma's. It's just a tad narrower, like its radius isn't as large, but it's got a huge track out. So again, a lot like Sonoma, a more forgiving track out, but a tighter actual radius. So you can use more of the track there. I think some marbles might build up there, but you can use more of that track. By this point, you should be full throttle, hauling ass down down this straight. I'll go into full speed here. This is an area where you might want to defend. You know, it gets kind of sketchy. Okay, so what I'm looking for at this point is the Dodge Bridge up here. Right before that is the 5 board. That is my braking marker, the 5 board itself. So if you're at the dodge bridge and you haven't started braking yet, you're going to miss this corner. So I'm on the brakes. There's the 4. There's the 3. I'm trying to keep myself disciplined. Keep yourself out to this white line. Notice how I'm drifting in way prematurely. I need to be staying out there and turning in like now, but I should have been doing it from way out there. Hit the first curb. Try to miss the second curb. And then aim at the end of the red and white wall here. Use the green runoff. Lots of grip right here. And then go do it all over again. Let's watch that back, but at speed. Notice the delayed downshifts. I use, I think it's dash number 2, the one with the analog gauge. And for me, I downshift when the needle gets to the 9 o'clock position. It's about 5,000 RPM, 4,500, 5,000 RPM. If you don't do that, you'll get wheel hop. You have that throttle modulation back there, being careful. Braking before the 3 board. Hit the first curb, miss the second curb, and keep it to the right. You hear how I just tapped that second curb there and I had to get out of the throttle. That's why I think you should miss it. Down, down, really late. Use all this runoff. Hard on the gas. Going to go under the first bridge, look for the dodge bridge. Your braking marker is going to be right before the dodge bridge at the 5 marker. Hard on the brakes, well before. Hit the first curb, try to miss the second one. I got a little too much of that first curb, could have done better out of the second one. So that was a, what was that? 140.393. Looking at some of the areas of opportunity that I have there, I think I've probably got a 140 flat hiding in me somewhere. So maybe even better. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I hope this is helpful to everybody. So thank you for watching, and let me know if it helped you out.